well. So thank you, Charlottesville Albemarle Dems, for arranging this opportunity to meet the candidates. My name is Gloria Tinsley Witt, and I just want to share a little bit about my background, where I came from, why I decided to run, why do I think I'm the person for the job, and then share some of my platform issues. So I was born and raised in Amherst County, Virginia. I consider myself a country girl. People say, well, why do you think you're a country girl? Because I said I really am. I was born at a time where we did not have running water. We survived off the land. We did it all, whether it was processing meats, raising gardens, churning butter, you name it. I can do those things, so I'm pretty flexible. I can make it in the survival mode or the modern mode. So I am a country girl. I value faith, family, social justice, and community building. So why do I think I'm the person for the job? What makes me unique? I've spent 32 years in corporate America in the energy sector. I'm a small business owner. And I think those skills of being able to listen, compromise, collaborate, make decisions, and move organizations forward toward results-driven is what makes me unique. Congress needs someone at this moment who can build bridges and knock down walls. And you can't do that if you're polarized on lefts and rights. You need voices in the room who will take a no to find out what the common ground is and work that no till you get to a yes, rather than these attacks and throwing volleys across the bow. I also think I'm qualified because of that 32-year work experience in a multicultural environment that really honed my ability to drive results. And working on numerous boards, most of you got my flyer. I have been engaged for years in I'm a community servant. I am currently on the Centra board. I spent 17 years in every role on the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Lynchburg. I value youth development. I'm the president of the NAACP of Amherst County. I will be stepping down when I win on June 19th. But I understand this culture war that we are in. Amherst County is 32,000 little citizens, and we have dealt with book banning and African American full history and second sanctuary cities. We've been on the front lines. Google it. So I understand what's driving these culture wars, and I think most of it is coming from fear. Our America is dealing with what I call the browning of America. And there's a power struggle going on. Them versus us. And it's right in that sweet spot where we've got to start talking about these issues and letting people know it's enough for all of us. You don't have to marginalize a group of people to have power. Together, in fact, diversity is what makes us so wonderful in America. And we're using it now as a weapon. So we have to call out these things. So why did I decide to run? I believe our rights and freedoms are under attack. All you have to do is just listen and watch, and you can see it. When they rolled back Roe versus Wade, I was like, oh my goodness, my granddaughters will not have the same rights I have. A man or men have decided that women don't have domain over their bodies. So that got me on the edge of my seat because I'm real busy in all those other organizations and running my small business. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. A few months later, Supreme Court rolled back affirmative action. Oh my goodness, that's not good because I have worked in corporate America in organizational development. I tie business results to leadership behavior to drive results. That's what I've done for 32 years. And when they roll that back, and that's been the work of my career before I retired 10 years ago, building up women in senior leadership positions and people of color when we can find them. And all of a sudden now you roll back affirmative action. That's a dog whistle for marginalizing women as well as people of color. And it's only the beginning. It's only the beginning. And Gary mentioned this whole idea about, you know, the history, the 1870s. We were going through something very similar during the Reconstruction period. The same kind of language, the same types of dog whistles. It's time to get engaged. So our rights and freedoms are being rolled back. There is a level of disappointment. Particularly, I'm operating in circles, and they're saying, well, you know, black men are checking out of voting. And I'm like, okay, then we can't have that, because it's going to take all of us to win this battle. So I decided, well, if they're checking out, I'm going to re-energize all people, because this is no time to sit on the sidelines. It's fighting time. And that means democracy and voting. We have to vote. And people have asked me, well, how do you get people re-engaged? We got to talk about it. We got to talk about it to everybody in our networks and family and friends, and educate along the way. Democracy is really on the line. And the third thing, the third reason I wanted to run is to pass legislation for we the people. Not for the haves, but for we the people. And so that's why I decided to run. So what are some of my platform issues? Upholding democracy. We have to get everybody voting, and that means we got to talk about it more. I often wonder, how did we get people voting way back then? They didn't have social media, really didn't have telephones, but how did they do it? We talked about it. If you check your social media feeds right now, you will see more social media conversations about the shoes I bought, what I'm eating for dinner, my grandchildren's grades. Really? We need to use our tools to uphold democracy. It is on the line. So I'm begging all of you, use social media for the power that it is, and start talking about get out and vote. It's voting time, and we cannot afford for anybody to sit on the sidelines, or we're going to lose this thing. And the choice is clear. We go forward or we go backwards, and I'm not going backwards. So the other platform, so you've got the democracy part, you've got the economic growth part, and to me, growing District 5 is tied to this idea of building out more structurally and funding to tie business talent needs, skilled workforce, to public education. We should not be graduating high school students without a career technical skill for the 60% of graduates who decide not to go to a four-year school or to the armed forces. And that's what we're doing. It's like, where is the crazy in this? Businesses tell us, because I'm a part of the Lynchburg Business Alliance for the last 7 years, we know that they've got thousands of job openings and nobody to fill them. You got high school students coming out of school and don't even know which end of a shovel to pick up. I mean, it's like, what are we doing? And they can't find a living wage job. And then we wonder why our crime rates and our children are spending out, whether it's mental health, etc. So I want to tie that system more, expand it out, because most areas in District 5, they have career technical training, but you got 10 kids here, 15 here, and companies need hundreds of people. So we need to collectively start producing career skills. In fact, that's how I got here. From the country, in the outhouse, to corporate America, I had a skill. I could take shorthand and I could type. When I left high school, I knew I wasn't going to be like them. I was going to work in corporate America. It's through that I got my skilling. Because my dad told me earlier on, your education does not benefit me. So I had to get it on my own. Think about it. We pay, what? I put two kids through college, HBCUs, big money. Their education is not helping me. They might help me when I get older, but right now it's all. So that's what he told me. But I had a skill. When I left high school, it wasn't just a piece of paper. I had a technical skill that opened a door for me. And our children deserve that for the ones that don't go off to college or to armed forces. A typewriter? Well, now it's an iPad, same thing. So, and the other piece is strengthening families. We've got to protect Social Security. And we got to have the billionaires to pay their fair share. They've got a cutoff point. We don't have a cutoff point, so they shouldn't have a cutoff point. And we wouldn't have to increase the age for retirement or Social Security. We need to change that. Medical prescriptions, keep doing what the Biden administration is doing. I personally have benefited. My grandson is a diabetic. He started out with his EpiPens at $300, and now they are free with insurance. My grandson is asthmatic. He gets an inhaler, used to be $80. Come January, it's $35 max. And yeah, these are kitchen table items that we need to keep focused on and deal with. The other areas that I am concerned about is the southern border. It's another political pond. It can be solved if we really wanted to. It just was highlighted. A Republican leader mapped out the the Border Act, and it was tabled. And they got everything they wanted, plus some, and they tabled it. It's about resources, putting enough judges, law clerks, lawyers, etc. If we can get 1.2 million people through TSA on a holiday weekend, I think we can handle the border. It's all about technology and people. What's the problem? We don't want to fix it because it's a political pond. And in regards to the Israel-Gaza situation, I do believe that Israel had a right to respond to the October 7th activity, but they are in overreach at this moment. It's genocide. Let's just call a thing a thing. What do you do about it? It's very complicated. And we got to trust the experts that you can't go in publicly with your cards flying and making demands publicly the way some of us want it to be. Negotiation is not a loud thing. It's a little subtlety going on. By the way, I used to be a certified purchasing manager in one of my careers, of my 32-year careers. And so you got to go about it delicately. And that's what's happening now. And I just wish that the college campuses would support the First Amendment right. We've got a right to protest. I'm on the lines. We need to protest. But the point is, are they fully aware of all the issues? So where is the point where you hold some space to have civil discourse? Hold some space to have civil discourse and educate, because things are happening, but it's a complex, complicated situation. And you cannot go out making demands and ruin egos, because let's face it, people in the room got a whole lot of egos, and we got to save egos. That's that piece about listening that we need in these spaces. And finally, addressing gun violence. We don't need assault weapons. I want to ban them, period. They were banned in the 90s, and the Republican Party let the door back open, and we got to close that door again. I believe we need to register guns. That's right.
Absolutely.
Register guns. At some point, I know there are millions of guns on the street, but if that's the case, I would still be a slave if you never did anything. You've got to start somewhere. And you have to put a marker down and say, right now, starting December 1, if you buy a gun, it has to be registered. And sooner or later, we'll get there. It's called progress. Nothing happens overnight. We've got to start registering guns. And it's not about taking away your Second Amendment right. Remember, I told you I'm a country girl. I've shot guns. I have a gun. I really don't know what to do with them. But I bought one from a friend about 4 months ago. And it's really funny because I do live in the country and bears are out and about. So I'm like, I'm going to get a gun and I can at least shoot it. Make a noise. Not good. And then I realized something through my interactions. I think we don't want to work with gun laws. Thank you. We don't want to deal with gun legislation because it's kind of like black market trading going on. Because I bought the gun from a cousin for $40. Nobody knows I got it, etc. So just think about the people who collect guns. It's like money on your wall. You got to make a couple $100. Just go out and sell a gun. We got to stop that. We owe it to our children. We owe it to America to put some controls, whether it's waiting times, red flag laws, etc. So I'll wrap it up and say, I think my voice is what's needed in Congress right now. I think I've got the experience, the boldness as a communicator, as an influential leader to hold space and to fight for the needs of District 5 by calling a thing and not shying away and leaning into and learning what it takes to make forward progress. So please vote for Gloria Tinsley Witt for Congress. Thank you.